Hi you guys, it's Lynnea, and today I'll be using the Classic Love stamp set from Kindred Stamps. This is one from their latest release, from the October 2019 release. Two cute little characters and a bunch of fun sentiments. So I thought that since the stamp set is Classic Love, that I would do a classic style card. So I'm going to do a bit of masking with my purple tape. I'm masking off a long rectangle down the left-hand side of my card, so probably about a ½ inch in from the left, and then I'll just add some more purple tape over on the right so that my my masked off section is about 2 inches wide. And then I'm also going to mask off the bottom as well so that I can have a clean rectangle blended in my card. Now, I wish that I had brought down my bottom piece of purple tape just a little bit longer, but I fixed that in the end because I had planned to do some masking and ink blending and then put my character as well as my sentiment inside of the inked blended area. But when I removed my masks, you'll see later my rectangle is just a little bit short for my design. But I fixed that by stamping the sentiment at the bottom. I'm a firm believer in working with what you have and just making it work. So I'm going to be using my Distress Oxide inks. I have Candied Apple, Wild Honey, and then Fossilized Amber. I have been using regular dye inks for blending, and I've kind of let my Distress Oxide inks get lonely, so I pulled them out today, and I now remember why I love blending with them so much. I hardly had to go back over these areas at all to get a perfect seamless blend. The oxide inks they're made for heavy-handed blenders like me. So I decided to add some black watercolor spots on top. This is something that I like to do when I'm ink blending, especially when I have a masked off ink blended area. I think that it just helps define those edges a little bit. Now, don't make the mistake that I'm making here. You want to dry your panel before you wipe off the ink. I thought that it would be better to wipe off the ink and then dry it. That way I wouldn't have any smudges, and instead I got smudges you'll see there on the left-hand side. But I will show you how I fixed that. I'm just going to use a Tombow Mono sand eraser. And here you'll see my heavy-handedness come in again. I just went right at it, and I completely tore my cardstock as well as pulled up the ink blending underneath. So I thought maybe I can cover it up with my character, but she was too thin for that. So I decided to go in and just lightly scratch off that blended area. And then I went back in with my paintbrush and some more black watercolor and just kind of dotted over that area. Now it's obviously not perfect because there's a cluster of dots there, but I'm going to fix it again later. So in the end, you're really not going to be able to tell that I made a mistake. I'm going to stamp out the girl character from the Classic Love stamp set using some alcohol marker-friendly ink. And then I will just do some coloring. I'm coloring with my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers. I just have been reaching for these more and more. I love the fact that there are 3 colors in one marker. I have a small craft area, and so I have the whole collection of these Tri-Blend markers, and I can keep them all in a zipper pouch, and I just have pretty much every color that I could need. In addition to that, I color on the go all the time. I stamp out my Kindred Stamps sets, and then I go up to my parents' house and color. So this is just my choice of what I like to color with, but you could even stamp this image on watercolor cardstock, color it with your zigs, with your watercolors, with Copics, whatever you have is what I firmly believe you should color with. So I'm just going to go in with the Earth Brown Shades marker and give her some dark brown hair, starting with my darkest, blending it out with my medium, and then I will go all over her hair with my lightest color and just blend out that shading. Once I'm done, I'll use my scissors and just trim her out using my scissors and just leaving a slight white border so that she kind of pops up off that ink blending. So here's where you'll see, I wish that I had brought the ink blending down further, but I fixed that rather than white heat embossing my sentiment in the ink blended area. I'm just going to stamp it in black below the ink blending, and I think that it worked out really well. I've cut out my little girl here, and I have popped her up with some foam squares, and I'm just going to add some of these clear droplets. These are from Pretty Pink Posh, and I've just had them in my stash for a couple of years, and I use them all the time. So I will add them here and there over my card, and I'm going to cover up that boo-boo area just a little bit more. And this is my card. I hope you love it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!